Hey, I'm back. So, you know how a couple months ago I had this lofty idea that somehow I was going to keep up with doing multiple video updates, podcasts, YouTube videos, and running my social media and running my business while also directing a feature film? Eek! Yeah, so basically that didn't happen. And it's been like half a year since I've done another update like this. I think my last podcast, oh my gosh, let me fact check this. Let me fact check. I'm gonna guess February. I should have done this before. February 3rd. Y'all, I have not talked to you since February 3rd. It's currently July. I am so sorry. But yeah, a lot has happened in the last 6 months, 4 months, 5, I can't. February, March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. Wow. I'm so sorry, guys, but I'm back. And in the last 5 months, we have done some pretty crazy, unpredictable, insane things. I guess the things aren't crazy and unpredictable, just like we have gone through some crazy, unpredictable, wild things in the last 5 months. So, for starters, I mean, we made a whole feature film. And when I say made, like, we are still editing it, but we filmed an entire feature film, like over an hour and a half of a movie. We wrote it, directed it, and filmed the whole dang thing in March. In April, we went on a cruise, which basically we booked it for a tropical destination. They rerouted us to a cold destination, Canada, just 3 days before we took off. And I made some TikToks about it. They went viral. So we went viral. And we ended up landing on the international news in Canada, in Sweden, here in the States. We landed on BuzzFeed, People Magazine, NBC Dateline, not Dateline, NBC World Nightly News, something like that. I don't remember. So that was crazy. And then in May, we took a trip to Florida, and on the way home, Spirit Airlines shut down when I was flying Spirit Airlines. So we went viral a second time, which is also what? And there was that whole situation. And then in June, we just tried to put our heads on again. And by putting our heads on, I mean, we traveled multiple times and shot multiple weddings and tried to start, getting our businesses up and running because somehow the year just slipped away, as it does. So it's been a very crazy start to the year. My follower count, quadrupled. Not that that really changes anything, but I feel like that added a whole new pressure of, the professionalism and the business side of things of just oh, shoot, now there's, not just my friends, family, and clients. Now there's an additional 15,000 people looking at my stuff every day who I don't know. So I've just been navigating that and what I put out there on the internet and all these DMs that I'm getting and just managing that because, when you quadruple the amount of people that have access to your life, you just gotta, I guess, be intentional about that. And that also means so many more people are engaging with your content and expecting things. And it's just interesting. So today we're just going to do a little catch up. We're going to dive into these things that have happened. And if you're new here, if you found me through one of those amazing, crazy new life changes, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. To address one of the biggest life changes that just happened. You might not have known this. We didn't post about it online or anything, but we are the proud owners of a new espresso machine. Yeah, the Breville Barista Pro, baby. I cannot tell you how great this little invention has been in our lives. Someone say game changer because it really has been that good. So, little context, one of our friends bought us a espresso machine from Target, I think, for our wedding about 6 years ago, almost. Woo, crazy. Wow, that time flies. Ian and I realized we've known each other for like 7 summers now, and that feels nuts. Anyway, we met in the winter of 2019, like January 2019. And yeah, it's weird how time happens, because I don't feel like 7 years older than when we met. And high school, for some reason, was 11 years ago. I'm feeling quite old. Anyway, so somebody bought us an espresso machine. We've used it a lot. It's moved with us, and it was one of those, like, you know, it's expensive as a gift, but it wasn't like top of the line. Like, it's definitely like one of the more entry level espresso machines, but for what we needed it for our first few years of marriage, such a sweet gift, amazing. But we like used it so much that the espresso started tasting funky. The shots weren't pooling like a real espresso shot, and it just kind of started tasting like watery bean water. So the time was coming, and I just didn't want to spend the money, because espresso machines, they are not cheap. And for why? Like, it's less amount of coffee than like a coffee machine. You can buy a pretty decently cheap, like a Chemex is like $30-$40, and you can make a bigger amount of coffee with a Chemex than a little espresso machine. I don't understand the pricing, but anyway, it is like a full machine. It's got like the steam wand and, you know, the grinder involved in it. So I knew it was going to be a little bit of money. I didn't know if I wanted to spend $675 on one, but I knew something had to change. But in the last year, I started calculating how many times I would be going out for coffee. Social coffee is different in my mind because it's a social activity. Dropping $6, $8 on a fancy latte once in a while to meet up with a friend is like that's not the same thing as like your everyday cup of coffee. We'll usually do like a black cup of coffee around here at Chemex or something, but I've been really liking espresso and having like an iced oat milk latte or a brown sugar shaken espresso at home. And when you go out to get something like that, I mean, even at Starbucks, which should be arguably cheaper than a local coffee shop, they're getting more and more expensive. The oat milk is going up in I hate to say it, but like, not to get political, but in Trump's economy, like this, we can't live with these prices. And I'm talking about specialty coffee. Don't even get me started on like gas, groceries. I went to Kroger today for fruit, for milk, and for eggs, and I spent $68 on fruit, milk, and eggs. Not even organic fruit, guys. This is getting out of hand. Anyway, I have a lot to say, obviously, but I was on the hunt for this machine. I didn't really want to spend nearly $700 to get it new, but I had some tip money from some of my client work, and I keep my tip money in a little jar, and whenever I want to do something kind of fun that's outside of the budget, I look at the tip money. And I found an espresso machine, the Breville Barista Pro, on Facebook Marketplace. Now, sometimes Facebook Marketplace purchases, you're like, is this a good idea? I promise I'll get to the meat of this episode in a second, but I have to tell you the story. I messaged the woman, and she was like, hey, we just don't use it. We used it a few times a year ago, and since we had a kid, like it doesn't work with our bodies the same way. Like, caffeine is just not something in our diet right now, so it hasn't been used in a long time. If you want to come over, I'll run it so you can make sure it's good. And I was like, cool, how much do you want for it? She asked for $450. I was like, girl, can we negotiate it down to $400? And she said yes. So that's what I did. I got it back in, I want to say, April. I have not even kidding, I have probably used this thing at least 5 times a week, if not every day. The only caveats are when we travel. Like, I genuinely use this thing almost every single day. And I've been making homemade brown sugar shaken espressos. And they are so much cheaper than Starbucks, so much healthier because I know exactly what goes in them every single time. And it's going to be a money saver and a game changer. And I'm happy. I'm happy with my decision. So that is my big life update. Now, to get into the bigger life updates, I think I needed all that fuel and all this caffeine because I'm still a little sleep deprived after filming an entire movie. I still can't believe this is real life. It does feel like a fever dream, I'm not gonna lie. But Ian and I I mean, we had other episodes, I think, talking about this on my show. You can dig around and find some of those. They won't be hard to find because I haven't kept you updated. But we literally made a movie, guys. We wrote a film between the months of November and January, and then we cast everyone in February and location scouted and got our bells and whistles in order, and we filmed in the month of March. We filmed pretty much every day between March 3rd through March 22nd, I think. We took off some weekends and stuff. Like, we took off some time with our cast so that we wouldn't all go insane. But we filmed for 17 shoot days, and it was a dream come true. It was so fun, and the people who were on the film project, like, there's just something special about being a part of a play or a musical or a film crew. You really do become like a little family. Like, there are those people that I will only ever know in that context. We will only ever remember those moments on set together and have that shared history together. And it was so beautiful. And I was a director. Like, what? I like directed a feature film? Excuse me? And I'm trying, this is something I'm working through with myself. I'm trying to still, how do I say this without sounding, I don't know, like nepotism-y? Like, I am trying to be proud of myself for the work that was accomplished on the film set. It's called Call Me Harlow, by the way. That's the name of our movie. Look it up, babies. We were on the news. We have an IMDb. I'm trying to still hold the truth that, like, I did this work, and that alone is amazing, and I should be proud of it. And I hope other people acknowledge how hard that work was. And at the same time, I'm wrestling with this idea of, like, if I wasn't married to Ian, would I have ever done this? Would this be something in my repertoire? Would this be a skill that I would have tried to flex here? Or, like, are people looking at me, I guess? It doesn't matter what people think. But, like, in my brain, I'm still working through this. Like, is the perception of me, oh, you only got this opportunity because you're married to Ian? And there is some truth to that. And I guess at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter because directing a film is something I wanted to do. I've always loved movies. Acting is something I've done and still love to do. Being a part of theatrical productions and film sets is something I love to do. So I guess in the long run, like, it doesn't matter. But in my brain, there's, like, I feel like every time I've said it to somebody who maybe doesn't know, you know, the fullness of my artistic endeavors or just knows me as a photographer, whenever I say it, they kind of go like, oh, so your husband's the film guy? And I'm like, yeah, but also me. Like, it was a big deal. It is a big deal. Like, anyway, I'm that's something I'm working through with myself, is just, like, trying to be proud of the fact that this happened. And whether or not I married a film person, I guess, is besides the point, because I know I killed at that role. I know it was really, really hard. I know there's so many ways I could have improved, but I'm still very grateful to have done it. And I would like that to not be the only time I get to direct. I really, really feel like art direction, maybe not film direction only, but art direction is, like, my dream job. And I have struggled to, like, vocalize that before because, I don't know, I think sometimes it can get, again, looked down upon. Everyone's got a lane, right? Well, I'm a photographer, I'm a graphic designer, I'm an illustrator, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a director of photography. But as soon as you say, I want to direct, I want to be the person that delegates the tasks to everyone, I think people think that might be a cop-out. Like, oh, well, everyone wants to do that. Like, put your, you know, skills to work, get your elbow grease ready, and, like, do the actual work. But I'm like, I feel like I've done my time. I went to school for graphic design. My first couple jobs were in graphic design, and I leveled up and got a marketing job. And then I, you know, did photography for forever, so much so that I'm the CEO of my photography company. So, like, I feel like everything has its time, and I'm just getting this, like, itch of, like, I think it's time to direct more. And so this was an opportunity to do that, and it really felt like nature was flowing and the Lord was around, and it was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So anyway, it was fun. It was really fun, y'all. I'll probably do a whole nother episode kind of breaking down exactly what that looked like, but if anyone wants to know more about what it was like being a first-time female director on a film set, I would be happy to do a whole extra episode about it. But for now, I guess I'll just leave you with all those good pieces of, we filmed a movie called Call Me Harlow. We also have big news. I've probably posted about this already, so again, you may have already heard this, but we already have a distribution deal. It's huge! That's not normal, okay? That is not normal. It is not normal to already have a place to show your film before it's even been edited. But again, the Lord provided. So many cool things have happened. I'll get into that. I'll have to do a whole episode about it. Just to not bore you out if you don't care about film stuff here. But we, once the film is edited, we will have it available on a streaming service that currently 5 million, I think, people have already downloaded the streaming service. So it's already up and running. It's called Rediscover Television. They have a ton of content on there, like films with Chris Pratt and Reese Witherspoon and like big name actors. They have TV shows. Their whole thing is to kind of help people rediscover classic cinema. Some of the shows and movies that we maybe grew up with or maybe from early 2000s that don't get a lot of limelight anymore. And a lot of their stuff is kind of cleaner. So if you're like watching movies with your family and you don't want like questionable sex scenes or a lot of language, like you'll find some classics and some cleaner but still exciting movies on there to watch and TV shows. And so this streaming service saw us hustling, saw us making this movie and reached out and was like, hey, when your movie's done, do you want it to be on our streaming service? So obviously we said yes. And something else I need you to know is in the meantime, we were invited to be a part of this new program on this Rediscover Television streaming service. It's called The Backlot. Basically, it is a incubator for these indie film projects, very similar to ours, so that while we're editing, while we're in the process of finalizing this movie, we can give you and people access to behind the scene content, interviews with our cast and crew, audition versus final cut. We can give all this cool content where we actually will get paid for the watch hours. So it's one of those very rare, moments where you as a filmmaker actually get potential to like start funding a project. And for our movie, for Call Me Harlow, if you're curious, we self-funded this. Like we crowdfunded, used our own money, had a ton of people volunteer for this. So we didn't make money off of filming it. Like we had a goal of raising a certain amount. We didn't quite get there, but we got pretty darn close and we got enough to just push us through. But making a film is hella expensive. So the ability to make a little bit of money on the watch hours from this backlot program is truly a huge, huge blessing. It's not a ton of money. Again, like you don't set out to be a filmmaker to make money. If it happens, that's great. Like good for you, Hollywood producers, but we aren't those people yet. But by doing this, we can basically save up a little money to host a red carpet screening, to pay for a colorist to help Ian finish the edit of the movie, to pay for someone to make original sound and music for the movie. So this is very helpful stuff. So I say all that to say, if you're watching this and you want to hear more about a movie, you want to watch more of our movie, you can sign up for the backlot through Rediscover Television. There is a specific link you have to use. I'll put it in the caption below. But if you use that link and you sign up, every single minute you watch of our content there under our Call Me Harlow page, we'll get a little kickback for, which is huge. So that's the place to get updates about the movie. I will do another episode about being a female director lady. I can't even believe that's like part of my resume now. So cool. And Ian's been like, I'm a little jealous that you got to direct a feature film before you were 30. And I was like, yeah, baby, you should be. But still, very exciting stuff. So that's it on the movie talk for today. I know that's a lot and maybe you don't care about movies, but if you're here, I guess you care about me a little. Please say you do. So I wanted to also talk about the other cool things that went on in our lives in the last few months. We went viral twice, which, how did that happen? It's so strange. Do you hear my washer? Bum 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 dun dun, doo da da doo da bum bum. All right. It's gonna keep singing for like 30 more bars. Okay, so going viral is this very interesting experience, and I hope everyone gets to have it one day. But we first experienced this way back in 2020. We did a whole series about making a pool during COVID in Ian's family's backyard. It went super viral for some reason, and I really don't know why. But that was like interesting. It was like eye-opening. It grew our TikTok quite a lot. I think we have like 132,000 from followers, several million views, all that fun stuff. It was very fun, kind of cool experience, because then all of a sudden you're just like, your phone is blowing up and there's tons of people like asking questions and you're like, am I going to get money from this? Am I going to get brand deals from this? The short answer was like, yes, no. It wasn't like the end all be all to my influencer career like I thought it would be, but it was still pretty cool. We did get paid a little bit from some of that. I think we got $700 for those videos going viral. And I think that maybe put the foot in the door to work with a few brands, but genuinely, like, we have not gotten those, like, when you think of like a TikToker or like an influencer, like getting brand deals and getting paid to post content, I guess I was thinking like $10,000 videos, like $20,000 brand deals, like all this stuff, especially for a huge follower account. I reached out to several brands. I got a few brands that would send me like, $300 of free clothes and I'd do a video for them, but then the clothes would like literally disintegrate the first time I washed them. So I was like, I don't feel comfortable recommending people buy this product. It's not well made. Anyway, that's aside the point. But we'd gone viral before, is what I meant to, all that to say. We'd gone viral before. And this reason we went viral in April was because we finished the film. We finished filming end of March. And then 2 weeks later, April, I don't remember, when was Good Friday? April 9th? Something like that. Anyway, we had planned a trip with Ian's parents because Ian's mom is a kindergarten teacher and his dad is retired. His birthday was coming up. He was turning 75. And so we were like, we want to do something to celebrate. And his parents love a good cruise. His parents are the best because they love a good vacation and they love bringing us, which is so fun. So they were like, hey, when the movie's over, let's go on a cruise. We're like, great, sounds awesome. So they booked through Virgin Voyages, which is like a big cruise line. And the big thing about Virgin is they do a no kids policy. I love that, honestly. I'm not going to lie. We had done a cruise with them before where kids were allowed, and like just safety wise, there were children in the pool next to drunk adults who were like trying to flirt with other drunk adults that were like single, and it just felt like Jersey Shore on the water, and these children are running around, and I just constantly felt stressed because I was like, some kid is going to drown or get hit by a drunk adult, and there's just a mismatch of like adults are letting their kids run rampant, and recently there'd been articles of like kids jumping off the board because they're unsupervised, like all this stuff. Like so I don't know, I just kind of am cool with the no kid cruise because I also think as a parent, I'm not a parent, but like I'm a parent of cats, but my friends who are parents, I watch them like go, yes, we want a family vacation, but also we love spaces without kids because we can actually take an exhale. And it is, I think it's just fine. I think it's okay to leave your kids at home. That's my hot take. As someone who loves kids, it's okay. So anyway, his parents were like, listen, after working in the school systems and his mom literally being a kindergarten teacher, she's like, I want a no kid cruise. And we're like, facts. So we go on the no kid cruise. And like we're about to leave. Ian's parents, it was leaving from New York, by the way, because obviously you can't cruise anywhere from Ohio where we live. Ian's parents were like, hey, we're going to road trip out, see our friends, and then meet you guys in the city, spend a night in New York, and then take off on the cruise. And we're like, awesome. We'd love to road trip, but we can't. We've got some work things. And also it's Easter weekend. We want to go to Good Friday service, all these things. So we're like, how about we just send our luggage with you? We'll pack for Bermuda. We were going to Bermuda. We packed our swimsuits. I packed so many like beach outfits, like a little skirt, a little top, a little hat, like all that stuff. Put it all in their car. They took off a few days early. We stayed home. On Good Friday, 2 days before we leave for the cruise, we get an email, okay, from Virgin Voyages. Maybe you saw this TikTok go viral. Maybe you didn't, all right? But basically the email from Virgin was like, hey, It's raining in Bermuda. Womp womp. And other cruise ships are probably still going to Bermuda. Womp womp. But we're not going to. No. We think it's too rainy and windy, and instead of Bermuda, we're just going to reroute you to somewhere else. Somewhere else that you paid thousands of dollars for. Somewhere else that's, probably close. Wrong! Incorrect! You would think, oh, okay, we can't go to Bermuda. How about we go to, I don't know, where, the Caribbean? Florida? Somewhere else? St. Lucia? No. We're going to send you to Canada. This is spring break, mind you. This is spring break 2026. And they said Bermuda's canceled. Canada is in. Maple syrup, Mounties, cold weather. So they rerouted us, and Ian and I, literally, I will not forget this. We came back from Good Friday service, saw the email, and we're like, this is insane. This is insane, categorically. Also because our suitcases were literally with his parents on the way to New York. We had already booked our flights to New York. Everyone was en route to this destination. We were ready for Bermuda. We had paid for Bermuda. Do you know the difference of price? If you go on Virgin's website, this is aside the point, but the cost to do a cruise from New York to Bermuda is thousands of dollars more than their Canadian cruise. Why? Because it costs more in fuel. Because the destination is actually worth something. It's not just the journey, right? If we wanted to just get to Bermuda, we could have flown there. We wanted to cruise to Bermuda. Specifically, Ian's mother, Paula, wanted to cruise to Bermuda. So Paula deserves to cruise to Bermuda. So anyway, this whole thing happens. We decide, you know what? Let's record this. Let's make a video about this experience. And we didn't post it in real time because I was like, I want to record this for our friends. They'd get a kick out of this. What if we just say, oh my gosh, what is our luck? Look at us not getting to the right destination. That's so McHugh of us. We have this thing in the McHugh family that we call the McHugh curse. Nothing ever goes right. And the phrase that literally his family says all the time is, it's never easy. So we were like, let's just record this. This will be a funny social media bit. But we didn't plan on posting anything until after the cruise because I didn't want to be stuck online, responding to friends and keeping up with the videos. I just wanted to wait till it was over. And then I was like, I'll just wait. We'll see how this whole cruise goes and we'll make a funny bit about it for the internet. So we go on the cruise. It was fine. It wasn't at all what it was supposed to be. It was very disappointing in a lot of ways. Yada, yada, yada. I'm still a little mad about it because, again, Paula and Lon were so generous and kind and booked this trip, and invited us into it. So I know that, some of the cost was not on us personally. The way we split things up, works out and stuff. But, I know that, this was also disappointing for them. But the cost of it, compared to what you got, you're promised, a cruise ship with a rooftop deck where you can work out and do yoga at sunrise literally over the ocean and play pickleball with your loved ones and jog around this track on the ocean side or have cocktails by the pool and sit in the hot tub and be with your friends and family and do all these special events. And then to actually cruise somewhere warm and hang out on the beach and drink cocktails and walk around a new beautiful island, and experience island culture at this one beautiful place. And then what we got was everything was closed. It was frozen, so no one's sitting by the pool. The pool bar is closed. The hot tub is closed because they were afraid that the hot water would spill out over the deck and freeze on the deck floor. All the outdoor workout facilities were closed. It was disappointing, not gonna lie, especially when you're thinking this is $2,000 a person, I think, for a week-long cruise. So the food was great. I will say that. Virgin Voyages, your food was good, very good. But you can't just say whining and dining on a big old ship is worth it, So anyway, this whole thing happened. We went on the trip. We did have some fun family time together, which was nice. Then we come home and I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to blast a brand, but this isn't going to go viral. This is for my friends and family. This will be funny. This will be funny, right? So I edited together this video and I put it on my TikTok, and I put it on my Instagram. And then all of a sudden, it blows up. I don't even know how many. I should look it up just for the shoots and giggles right now. I want to say it's at like 4 million or something. I reached my daily limit on Instagram, which I don't need to be on Instagram anymore. Okay, here we go. The original video about the cruise and getting the email, 2.1 million on my Instagram, and then you can see like the following videos have all gotten over 500,000, 400,000 views. Yeah, 9 million. Oh, that was the next one. Oh gosh, there's so much that's happened, guys. There's so much that's happened. So, and TikTok I think is over 4 million as well. So, it went crazy. It went a little cray-cray. I didn't expect that, but I also did not expect the news outlets to come for me. I just wonder if journalistic integrity is a little dead too, because if you imagine going viral and having something blow up so big that you're being asked to be on the news, I guess how would you anticipate that would go? Because to me, I thought people would email me, maybe give me a phone call. People who work at the biggest like news articles in the country, like BuzzFeed, People Magazine, CBS Nightly News, NBC News, were sending me TikTok DMs on their personal TikTok accounts. And sometimes they weren't asking follow-up questions. They weren't asking for more of the story. They, like one person, I think the person from BuzzFeed just took the video, turned it into like written words describing what happened in the video, and then didn't even wait for my permission. She just was like, oh, here's the article I put on BuzzFeed. Have a nice day. Like, excuse me? Like, that's how we're doing things these days? Which gets into a whole nother can of worms about like journalistic integrity and like what is happening in America. Is this how we're really giving our news out? But anyway, so I got some DMs from brands and magazines and people, and all of a sudden our faces were being plastered on the Canadian news, which was just hilarious. But yeah, it was quite the experience for sure. You always have to take all this with a grain of salt, because half the time people are just coming at you and getting angry for whatever your take is in the video. I mean, I was just saying we were disappointed, mostly in Virgin Voyages, for rerouting us from Bermuda to Canada. That's really the heart of the video. But people who were Canadian, some of them were like, oh my gosh, you suck. You deserve to die. You hate Canada. Like, you're the problem, you privileged white woman. And I was like, whoa. Whoa. That's okay. And then other people were like, you're so right. I would be angrier. Like, you should ask for more. And they were like rioting and boycotting Virgin, which I was like, okay, I didn't mean to like, shut the brand down or anything. But the brand did end up reaching out. Virgin Voyages did reach out, which we haven't shared that on social media yet, because I still don't know what's happening, to be honest. I, again, got personal DMs from individual employees at Virgin, like people on the marketing team who were like, well, glad you totally didn't hate all of us. Like, we did our best, and, we've done worse. And I was like, whoa, this isn't a personal attack against you. I'm just saying this is not a great policy. Like, no money back. And yeah. So they did reach out again. They offered another cruise, which Ian and I were like, sure, if his parents are down, that'd be fun. But the caveat being, they offered us another cruise only to one of their cold destinations. So they wanted to make it funny and say, oh, look, like we could spin this around on social media where you guys get another cruise, but instead of going to Bermuda, we're going to send you to Canada again, or to Alaska was where they wanted to send us. And we were like, okay, like maybe, but that really wasn't the heart of the trip or what we paid for, how Paul and Lon wanted to like celebrate their wedding anniversary and his dad's 75th birthday. So we're still kind of talking with them. But the other thing that kind of stunk about it is they asked it to be this year, like this calendar year. And our summers and our schedules are so busy that to do another cruise, like, yes, it'd be free, but we don't really have the time. And if we try to make the time, we're like putting off work and other responsibilities. So anyway, that's the tea on Virgin. there you go. But all that to say, it has been, I guess a non-eventful 2026 so far. Nothing new. But I guess between juggling all those things happening, between the movie and the virality and business as usual, like photographing weddings, I still had a ton of weddings in between those months as well. I had my first one in February. I had several in April, May, and June. I've just been trying to balance everything. And I think the thing that fell to the wayside, unfortunately, was you, my podcast listeners, my YouTube listeners, my people, my peeps. And it does bring me to this interesting question of, I guess, I wish I had a personal assistant or more hours in the day or more energy to do everything, but at last I do not. And now that we've got this whole program going on with our movie and the backlot, there's more content we're making that's just for that. That's only exclusive to people who have signed up for the backlot. So I don't know. It's just kind of hard, I guess, to stay motivated to wake up every day, have quiet time, go to the gym, do an intense workout, eat right, get some time outside, get time off the screen, and then clock 8 to 9 hours doing my photography work every day, and then keeping up with Instagram, social media, and keeping up with my online digital photography courses and e-products, making backlot content as a film director, and also adding in all this content of travels and things right here for you guys. It's been a lot. It's really been a lot. So I guess that's why it's taken a while for me to sit down and actually take time and apologize, because I did it again and I'm so sorry. But I'm here and I can't promise anything. And I think that's just where I'm at right now. I don't think I can promise anything consistent, which I know is not how I'm supposed to be if I'm trying to build a career as a YouTuber. But I also want to say, I'm not trying to just be another cutesy girl that tells you where she gets her matchas and what she's wearing. Full respect for those girly pops who have made their career doing that on YouTube. I don't think that's what I'm necessarily always wired for. I think I have more to give, and I want it to be intentional. So if I'm doing content, whether that is something like lifestyle or come live a day with me and this is what I'm drinking, this is what I'm wearing, that stuff is fun, and once in a while I love making that content. But when I sit down and talk to you, I want to inspire other young creative women to live their lives, to try new things, to navigate grown-up adult life even when it's scary and even if you don't know what direction things are going in. I want to help women make money through their work and through their creativity. I want to talk about the creative process with others who are trying to navigate, especially growing up in a small town or the Midwest or in a culture and a community that does not understand what it means when you shake someone's hand and say, "Hi, I'm a creative entrepreneur." And they're just glaze. I want to help be a voice for those people. And maybe that's you. And maybe you're watching this, listening to this going, yeah, that's why I'm here, India. So where's the content? So I want to get back to it. All that to say, I want to get back to it. My goal is once a week to revisit these videos here on YouTube and on Spotify and wherever you listen to your podcast. So I hope I can keep this up. That is my goal. Come and check back in next week to make sure I'm holding to it. But if you have something specific, if you've got a topic, I think that would help me a ton to know exactly what you want to hear more about. So whether it's navigating the growth of social media, whether it's dipping your toes in many different things as a creative, maybe it's more photography tips or growing your business online or just being self-employed, or maybe you do just want to watch me run around and do a day in the life in Columbus, Ohio. I'm here for it. I'm here to help you, but I just want to make sure the content is what you need, and I don't want to have to guess and make content that nobody even cares about. So I am here for you. Let me know how I can serve you and what you want to listen more about, I guess. But that's my little update, my not so little update, I guess. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I will hopefully be back next week. I better. And if not, you can come back. Okay. Love you. Bye.